What's up, guys? It's Sean with National Sports Entertainment. And like I said, I wanted to go into today's games. I did touch on them last night because I thought that just in case a lot of times I'll sleep in a lot because I don't fall asleep till later. So I thought that way I'd be able to have out my guaranteed picks, who I was definitely taking no matter what. Now, I did look at a few other games and I was able to look at some metrics. And there are a few other teams I like here. And I'll go over why I like the ones, again, I picked so much. But I picked Miami University for this reason. They are the worst. They're 14% against the spread. You don't see teams finish one or two. You might see at the end of the year one or two teams that do have 2 or 3 wins against the spread. You're not going to see Miami with one. And the teams that you do see finish that way against the spread are going to be like Colorado, Coastal Carolina, Colorado State. You're not going to see Boston College, Miami, and Michigan State finishing like that against the spread. You might see an outlier like once every year. You'll have like one team that is a higher marketable team that finishes that way, but it just does not happen. So that's why I like Miami and I like Boston both to cover. Now, Miami I also like because I think they sold a few weeks. They're like SMU. They can easily destroy teams. They literally were 4 and out, and then they were just turning it over. I think they had 8 turnovers in the game, including 2 on one drive, because if they turned it over, got it back, and it was a whole mess. My point is that I do believe that Miami and Boston College get off that metric. Now, I already went into Miami yesterday, but the reason I like Boston is they have a guy. I don't even watch these games. I watch Hendon Hooker. That's about it. And I'll watch the whatever occasional ones on. But I know that's like some top players. Now, I was just going through these names, and a name jumped out at me, and I know his name without even looking at it. Zay Flowers. You know, I just heard the name Zay Flowers like a million times, which means this dude is probably the top receiver in football, or at least close to it. And it probably means he's probably, I think, going to be pushed as a high draft pick, or at least a first, second round pick, just because, like I said, I've heard this dude's name a million times, and I barely even watch college football. So I see that, and I think Boston College wins. They cover that spread. And if you notice, it is a pretty interesting spread. They're not a great team, but they got them at 7.5-point favorites. So, of course, even though the official spread is 7.5, just to be safe, we like to go ahead and again, some of these are, since they're college, a lot of times I'll do it between around $20 instead of the $25. If you're new, that's why I usually do $25 on NFL, and then on college, baseball, basketball, because there's just so many more. I typically do 20, but you can do whatever increments you want. But that was one that I had saw yesterday that I said, you know, this one, I saw it at the last minute and realized that they're really no different than these other teams. A, they seem like traps. B, they have more marketable players. And C, they fit the metric of being very poor or very good against the spread, which usually turns around. Now, speaking of that kind of metric, I was looking at yesterday and I explained why I liked the over on G-Tech and Colorado State. They just eventually has to hit. And in that video, I accidentally took Colorado State with the points. So A, let's hope they don't play like buffoons for once. And B, you guys take the over, please. Don't take the points. I was tired. I had just taken a freaking hit off my pen, and I was like falling asleep, but I wanted to get the video out. And then I saw afterwards that I picked Colorado State plus 23 or whatever. So that's not what I wanted. It was I just thought I was thinking that was some kind of over under. So that game is the over under 100%. And then I look at these, and again, you see a lot of teams 6-1, 7-1. This does not usually hold. More than half of these teams, I promise you, are going to miss the under or hit the under. And of them, I was looking at them, and I did like Houston. I went over this again yesterday. I couldn't find them, but now I can. I liked Houston because when I looked on paper, USF is one of those teams that will slow it down when they're like behind, but they not on purpose, but they just go for like the spread passes, they're not really. There's college teams that'll continue running when they're losing and stuff like that. This is one of those games where I think it's going to be, based off of what I saw from the statistics, based off what I saw from prior games, the way they pace themselves. While Houston does score a lot of points, I don't think this one's going over. I think this is where their under hits. As I said, you don't see teams just completely hit the over-under all year. And to boot, I think that just based off of the way these two teams are set up and the way they play each week, I don't see Houston going over again. That this one's going to be in here. And then there's one more that I did like. And then I'll just recap them all for you guys. So, yeah, we got USF Houston. And, yeah, like I said, based on, I think it's like they got Knicks or something. Tune, that's it. Okay. So, yeah, I just feel like, again, with the way USF's offense is set up, I think for 60 to hit, they'd have to play exceptionally well. And the way they've been portrayed, it's going to be tough to do that. Again, these younger teams, which USF is being pitched at with the transfers, they typically don't play lights-out ball. So while they might give up something like 40 points, I just don't think it'll be in such a routed effort that I think the over still doesn't hit. And I think the public is going to be all over it because people like this. People do the opposite. They say, "Oh, this team's 5-1 against the spread. I'm going to take them to win." And it's usually the opposite. If a team's 7-0 on overs, there's a better chance they miss it than they hit it. So I like that one. We'll do just a small amount on that one. I think we also have baseball going on today, and we're going to have basketball going on later. So we don't want to have too many. But I do like the over on this game here. I'm sorry, not the over. I like fading the over. See, this mistake I made last night. Only I just was so tired. I wound up taking a point spread instead of the over. But as I said, I would take the over for sure. Now we have a lot tied up in outstanding sequences. That's why I'm betting less, because obviously we can't have everything tied up. Now there's one more game that I did like, and I didn't get to go over this one last night either, but it's going to be the final one. And this one I like Notre Dame. And I'll explain why. If we look at this, and this one's not based off of a metric or anything, this is based off of intuition. We have Syracuse at home, who's 6-1 and ranked 16th, who's basically even odds against Notre Dame. To me, that makes absolutely no sense. The public is going to be all over Syracuse. As I said, we can't have all these teams with 0-1 losses. This is a perfect opportunity for them to just boot Syracuse where they belong, right out of the rankings, because they're a basketball school. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Notre Dame completely romped them. But they are covering this 1.5 point spread. It's just, this is a trap if I've ever seen one. It's like Kansas. They gave Syracuse a nice little run so then they could lose a few in a row, and people would wonder why. But they should not be a underdog or a slight favorite in this game. They should be underdogs. So to recap, I was able to write most of them down last night. I think I was. We got the Colorado State over. We got the Georgia Tech over. The Georgia Tech over was set at 42 when I picked it. And that's going to be a first sequence, just so you know. I'm doing this because a lot of people have requested it. It's a little monotonous, I know. But there's people that are new and stuff, and then they'll ask, hey, how do you do your sequences? So I'm trying to show everybody in live time. So Notre Dame on this one is who I like. I mean, really, if you take the money line or the point, it's up to you. If you think it'll be a 1 point game, sometimes it does happen, but I don't think it will. And then we also like Houston. We like the under on that one. So as you can see, these are all new sequences, and it is basically, the goal is here, let's say we split these, then on the next games we do sequence number, or bet leg number 2, leg number 3, leg number 4. 4 is the highest I'll go for legs, but as you can see, we're almost 100 in now, and it's been very productive in my opinion. But the ones we have open, as I said, we do have West Virginia. If you didn't remember that, I picked them yesterday. I think they're going to definitely cover on TCU and possibly win. That's our second leg of the Knicks loss. The Sixers won for us. The Pelicans lost, so there's the Colorado State over. I do like that. We obviously have, for the earlier games, I like Notre Dame to win. I like the GA Tech over. I like the Houston under. And I don't know why it's not in here. I thought I wrote it in here. For sequence number 7 or 98, I like Miami University. I thought I did go into that one, though, to be honest. I guess I didn't. Yeah, I like Miami University. I think I won that one yesterday. They are playing Virginia, and I just don't think it makes sense. So, again, I want to make sure. I think I'm laying 3 points on that one or something. This is one that reminds me of Boston College, and it's one where Miami is 1-6 against the spread. Yeah, I went over earlier in this video. Okay. Yeah, and they are 3 points. I just wanted to make sure of that. So we got Miami -3. And again, that's another first leg. This one, I think I had gone 26 to win 25. I can't remember. I'll check. It's right around here. And those are going to be our picks. And we have Notre Dame on the money line. Miami -3. Houston under 60. GA Tech over 42. Then a little bit later tonight, we got Colorado State University. That's a second sequence. So if I did it for the Pelicans, but if one of these loses, you can go ahead and put it for that. And we have, again, early game is we have West Virginia +7.5. And then there actually is 100th, or 99th, I'm sorry. Here's number 70. And again, I know this part could be a little monotonous, but it seems people would rather me do it slow and a little monotonous than they miss something. And as I said, Boston College was the last one because of a few reasons, notably Flowers. I just think Boston College wins. I think it seems like a trap if I've seen one. Where are they at? Yeah, to me it's very similar to the Miami game or the Notre Dame game, where I just feel like, again, this guy I've never even heard. He's the only guy I've just heard of him because I guess like you're listening to football as A Flowers. I think they push him. The 7.5, I went it down to 7, but it's one that a lot of people are going to look at. And they're going to say, oh, UConn at home has this. Boston College sucks too. Whatever the case may be, they're going to take the 7. So between public action, the metric of Boston College being 1-6 against the spread, and Zay Flowers, I do like them to cover. And then one last time, I'll cover Notre Dame. The reason I like them is because of just the fact of playing a 17th ranked, 16th ranked Syracuse, whatever they are, and somehow it's even odds. That, to me, that alone is a good enough reason to pick them. So those are all of our picks. And sequence 99 is going to be we got them all then, and we got Boston. So, and I do post these on my Discord, just so you know. Like, I post them in live time. I try my best to get them out there immediately, for the reason. It's getting on my nerves. For the reason that it's easier, I know, for you guys once you're seeing it. Like, if you're looking right at it, it's a lot easier to pick your sequences than me telling you. So, sequence number 99 is going to be BC, Boston College. And we're going to have them, they're giving up 3. And that's a first leg as well. So, here's all of our picks for today. One last time. Boston College covers. Notre Dame, they win. Miami covers. GA Tech go over, as does Colorado State. Under on Houston. We got West Virginia at the points. So, that's who I like. And I'll go into the later games, what kind of play by year, but I don't like having 15 open sequences. Now, if you were to ask me on some of these games that look more fun, look more close, I do have on the Kansas State game, I would pick them to cover. They're a great spoiler team. I've seen it all year. Haven't looked too much into it. And I'd like UCF a lot against Cincinnati. I do. They've been pushing them hard. Getting them both to 6-2 makes that conference tighter. It sets them up with SMU for next year. They're going to have... It seems like they're trying to push that conference big time. So, again, I'm not going out of my way to play those games. The 10 or so I listed are the ones that I do like. West Virginia is one I like probably the most, just because TCU... if any team's not going to be undefeated after this week, it's going to be them, I think. But yeah, that's everything. I just wanted to make sure you guys were able to see everything I had, as well as the reasons behind it. More of a reason why I like West Virginia to win, and more of a reason why I think Houston's not going over. And I think Miami, Boston College, Notre Dame all come through. I know I was a little tired last night. So this way you guys could still get whatever picks you want in. And again, Colorado State is the over. I would never pick them to win or cover. They are horrible. That was an accident. I'm going to have to now bet the other side, which is fine. The over is what I like there, though. They get off of 0-7, and Boise State probably puts up 30, and probably even more, and Colorado State will put up enough that they go over. So take care, everybody. Happy earnings, and I'll be going into Hendon Hooker and a few other players later on. Take care.